Hello everyone. Today we are covering some of the most incredibly specific, bizarre, and downright random rulings from classical Hanafi jurisprudence. Just to be absolutely clear, I'm not mocking these. I actually think it's brilliant how these medieval scholars used a purely Islamic lens to stress test their legal system against literally any scenario imaginable. They called this hypothetical jurisprudence. Basically, they invented wild riddles to make sure the law could never be caught off guard. Without further ado, let's get started.
Hey, Sheikh, what if a man falls off a roof, lands on his neighbor's wife, and accidentally kills her?
The man wouldn't face retaliation, but his extended family or tribe would be liable to pay blood money to the woman's family.
Hey, Sheikh, if a person is swallowed whole by a giant fish, survives inside its belly, and prays while inside, is the prayer valid? Also, which way do they face?
The consensus was that if you are trapped inside a giant fish, you are physically constrained. Therefore, the requirement to face the Qibla, Mecca, is waived because of necessity. You pray facing whichever direction the fish is swimming, and you use gestures for bowing and prostrating if you can't physically move.
Hey, Sheikh, if a person is decapitated by an executioner or a sword-wielding enemy, but their head flies off and manages to audibly utter the Islamic testimony of faith, Shahada, before hitting the ground, do they die as a Muslim?
Audible speech requires breath passing through the vocal cords from the lungs. If a head is completely severed, it no longer has access to the lungs to produce sound. Therefore, if a sound is heard coming from a flying head, it is either a muscle spasm, not deliberate speech, or a miraculous anomaly. Legally, a person is considered dead the exact millisecond the neck is severed. So any sound made after that point carries no weight regarding their legal status.
Hey, Sheikh, if a person climbs a tree to pick fruit, slips, falls onto a passing traveler, and the impact kills the traveler, can the traveler's family claim the tree as compensation?
The tree itself is an inanimate stationary object and cannot be guilty of a crime. The person who fell is the one liable for involuntary manslaughter. However, because it was a pure accident with zero intent, the climber doesn't go to prison. Instead, their extended tribe or professional guild has to pay the blood money to the victim's family. The tree stays right where it is.
Hey, Sheikh, what happens if a giant bird swoops down, steals a piece of meat from a butcher, flies over a courtyard, and drops it directly into a poor man's cooking pot?
The moment the bird took the meat and flew away out of the butcher's sight, the butcher lost effective possession of it, rendering it lost property. When the bird dropped it into the poor man's pot, it became a case of unpredicted sustenance. The poor man is legally allowed to eat the stew. However, if the butcher somehow tracked the bird and witnessed it drop the meat into the pot, he could legally demand the value of the raw meat back from the poor man, but he couldn't take the stew itself.